now it is my pleasure to get to introduce you to our next speaker, Lyn Wineman, President and Chief Strategist at Kid Glove. And I have had the distinct pleasure of being able to work with Lyn as they are in the process of pursuing B Corp certification. And so it is wonderful, Lyn, to have you here, and exciting to have you sharing this stage as the future 5th B Corp here in Nebraska. So please give a warm welcome and extend our circle of compassion for the President of Nebraska's next B Corp, Lyn Wineman.
Thanks, Graham. And woo, I feel the circle of compassion, everybody. So thank you for those great thoughts. And first of all, I'm just honored to be a part of this great conference. Speakers are amazing. I've met some of the most interesting people at the networking gatherings, and Graham and Jay have been excellent hosts. So thank you all. And as Graham mentioned, we are right in the thick of our B Corp certification. So we're in that final verification stage, so close we can see the finish line. And so what I'd like to do today is really share our journey and answer your questions about the journey. I am not a B Corp expert by any means, so think of me as your friend in the business who's going through a similar situation that can maybe just help along the way. So for those of you that don't know, Kid Glove is a boutique marketing, advertising, and branding agency with offices in Lincoln and Omaha. And our brand, Kid Glove, is based on the notion that we treat people with great care. And that extends to both our own team and our clients. And we also tailor insightful brands and unique brand strategies for our clients as well. And one of our core values is love, which represents our passion for our work, our passion for our clients, our team, and our community. And our purpose is to serve organizations, both nonprofit and for-profit, who are doing good in the world. So a lot of what we're already doing aligns very closely with the B Corp certification. So, you would think, hey, it's a natural fit for us, but I have to tell you, early on, as we started marketing ourselves outside of the state of Nebraska, people asked us continuously, are you a B Corp? Do you have B Corp certification? And I was familiar with B Corp certification because I've heard Jay Wilkinson from Firespring talk many times, and they are Nebraska's first certified B Corp. So I'd heard Jay speak about it. I started to do some research since we'd been asked so many times, and I really came across two things in the beginning. And if you are looking at this process, you might have heard the same two things. But I first heard it takes a lot of time, it's a lot of work, and I second heard it's expensive. And so as an entrepreneurial, busy entrepreneurial founder, I kind of went, hey, that sounds like too much. I rolled my eyes, I put it on the back burner. But luckily, I was introduced to Graham. Graham mentioned that we get to work with him and his partner, Kyle Cartwright, the founders of Sea Change, a social enterprise advisory. And I found out that you could actually get some help with the process, which once again, I have plenty to do. I didn't really see that opening to say, I'm going to add a lot more time to my list to do this. But knowing they could come along beside us gave me the confidence that, hey, let's at least take a look at the initial assessment and see what it's all about. So our journey started really by sitting down with Graham and Kyle, and I brought in our COO, Catherine Warren, who is fabulous, and she manages our culture and our HR and our processes, all the things that I'm bad at, actually. So thank you, Catherine, if you're listening. We sat down with Graham and Kyle, and we went through the initial assessment. So the assessment is all online. It's on the B Labs website. And we broke it up into two sessions, two 90-minute sessions, I would say. And then we had a little bit of homework in between, pulling things from our policy manual. digging into our financials, our sales, and so forth. But it probably took us a good 5 hours to go through that initial assessment. And I'm going to say it was really helpful to have experts walking alongside us on the process, because as you go through the questions are quite rigorous, and some of them you kind of have to have a gut check on, right? You are reading this question and you're saying, what does that question actually mean? What kind of information is B Labs looking for? And this is what we do. Where do we qualify on the scale here as far as putting our response in? So really helpful to have that sounding board to help you through. As we went through the process and we neared the end, we got pretty excited to see that our initial score was in the high 70s, and it made us instantly start looking at what can we do better to hit that 80-point threshold, because you have to score 80 points out of 200. And I think that's the power of the B Corp certification. We were instantly looking for, what do we have to do to get better to earn a higher rating? And we all have heard the saying, what gets measured gets done. Well, profit and sales are the easiest things for all of us to measure. And a results-oriented leader can really fixate on those numbers. What the B Corp certification gives us is that measuring stick for other really powerful aspects of business that maybe have been difficult to measure in the past. Governance, workforce, community, environment, even customer relationships are part of the process. Now, since the assessment is all online, they give you a fancy dashboard, they save your answers. Once you're done going through it and you're satisfied with your responses, the actual sending in of your application is very easy, right? And because we were in the midst of COVID, we did the whole process start to hopefully soon finished in the midst of a global pandemic. The process took a little longer. I know B Labs, just like the rest of us, were impacted by, the work from home and the pandemic. So it took a bit longer. I think it took maybe 6, 7, maybe 8 months from the time we submitted our application until we heard back from our initial analyst. So an analyst on the B Corp side will go through your application, your assessment, and they'll confirm that you actually have met that 80-point threshold. And, a couple of questions will come up at that phase, and then they'll move you on to the verification stage. And so in verification, we're also working with another analyst at B Labs. And this is the phase that I would say is very, very rigorous. So we're probably 2 weeks into our verification stage. And a lot of really in-depth questions now to make sure that our answers are in fact true. And I think this is a point when we get into our recommendations that I would say that, it would be really helpful to keep good documentation along the way, because at this point, we are looking back to justify responses to questions that we answered almost a year ago. And so keeping documentation along the way would be very helpful. So right now, I think it'll probably take us another week, maybe 2 weeks at the most, so a month for that verification stage to get everything turned back in, and then hopefully we'll be across the finish line and we'll have a big party and you're all invited, right? So I would also say that along the way, after we submitted our initial assessment and while we were in the waiting phase, we did make the decision to go ahead and reincorporate as a Nebraska benefit corporation. And Graham explained this yesterday, and there's good explanations out there, but B Corp certification and being a benefit corporation are two different things. So we previously were a sole proprietor LLC, And now we are a Nebraska benefit corporation, which is also a step that takes some time. You will need legal counsel. We were lucky to have Lowell Brooks, if Lowell is out there watching today, thank you, who helped us along that journey. But one thing that's really great now is when people ask us, are you an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp? We can proudly say, hey, we're a Nebraska benefit corp, and explain to people what that means and explain our commitment to social corporate responsibility. So that has been our journey. If I were going to give people 4 recommendations based on our learnings, I would really say start by finding a partner who can help you out. I know that there are many partners, Graham and Kyle at Sea Change, and they didn't ask me to say this. I'm saying it because they're fabulous. They have been immensely helpful to us. They've made the process easier. And I think they've kept us going at times when we may have stalled out because we got stuck or we got busy. I would say, I mentioned earlier, second recommendation is document the process. Keep good notes because the process does take some time, and you want to make sure that you're really clear on how you're answering those questions. And I think that would have made our verification process easier if we had kept better notes along the way. Much like Tom Henning and Tammy Day, I would say get your team members involved. We talk about our B Corp process. We talk about our purpose. We talk about our core values all the time at Kid Glove. And it really has been an opportunity to bring our team together and gives us that feeling that, we're really working together for something that's bigger than ourselves. And then 4th recommendation is just prepare. It's going to take some time. This is not the kind of certification where you answer a few online questions, write your check, push the button, and it's in, right? This is really a very in-depth look under the hood. I would say that anybody who has the B Corp certification, it is a definite testament to the fact that it is below the surface level core commitment on behalf of that company, its leaders, and its employees to make that happen. So one other thing I want to share, we had some unexpected outcomes from this process, and we're not even certified yet, and we're starting to see the benefits. But when we went into B Corp certification, really what we wanted to do is prove to the world that we have these beliefs and these commitments, because I think it's easy for people to say the words, to have the core values, to have that poster that people like to put up. And, we wanted to go beyond the poster and really make it a part of our company. We wanted people to know that. So the unexpected outcome, and this shouldn't be unexpected, but honestly, this is way more than a seal of approval. This process is actually making us a better and more successful company. So some examples. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you, especially since Kate Williams from 1% from the Planet is on the speaker panel. We only scored, I feel like I have to whisper this to you all, so please don't tell anyone besides the 750 people that are listening. We only scored 1 point on the environmental section of the assessment. All we could say is we recycle, and that only gives you 1 point. So we're not bad environmentally. We're not doing anything too terrible. We just had not been thoughtful or intentional about our sustainability processes. So now we actually have an action item. We are working on our sustainability plan. Our employees are part of that plan. We're looking at our environmental stewardship, and we're looking at how can we use our influence with the clients that we work with to help make an impact as well. And we're actually seeing that that is helping our recruitment process because, as Tom Henning mentioned, millennials, Gen Z, very interested in what you believe as a company, and our sustainability plan and our B Corp certification have helped us. Likewise, through the process, it became very obvious that we needed to formalize our policies on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Once again, it didn't feel like we were doing anything bad or wrong. We just had not been intentional or documented our processes. And as we have really gotten intentional about this, we're actually increasing the diversity on our staff. We're increasing the diversity of our employee base, and that is really opening doors for us to new clients as well. Once again, we didn't get into this as a recruitment tool. We didn't get into this as a new business tool. If that's all you're looking for, I would not suggest you go down the B Corp path. But if you're really looking to be an organization that is committed to making the world a better place, I would say B Corp is for you. So, has it been a difficult process? Yes, absolutely. It is a rigorous process. Has B Corp certification, has the process itself, recognize we don't even have the certification yet, has the process itself made us better? 100 times, yes. And would I do it all over again? 100%. So I'm eager to take any questions people have if you want to put them in chat, or I am probably the easiest person in the world to find online. I'm on LinkedIn, Lyn Wineman, the only Lyn Wineman at Kid Glove, and that's Kid Glove without a V. Would love to connect and communicate with you online as well.
Thank you so much, Lyn. I'm going to jump in here as well, because we are so excited to have you join the ranks of certified B Corps in Nebraska. I can't even tell you how stoked I am about that. And one of the things that we talked about yesterday is the rising tide lifts all boats. I'm a huge believer in our firms, FireSpring and Kid Glove, do very similar things for very similar clients. And I will say unabashedly, I'm so excited that Kid Glove is in the ranks of B Corps, or is becoming. And I love the fact that we're elevating that tide and raising it for everyone. And I'm going to echo a few things that Lyn just shared. When we first went through the certification process in 2014, our score at the end of the process after going through it was a score of 98. And we were really excited about that. And then fast forward to 2021, after renewing every 3 years, which is the cycle, we just renewed for another year. We hit 125 and puts us in the top 10% of the scores of B Corp. But it took us 7 years to get there. It was overnight. And the first time we went through the process, we too were just under the threshold of 80 and had to implement a lot of new policies and do a lot of things. It made us a better company. And so lots and lots of encouragement that I want to share with anyone that's listening in today. Consider the process. Even if you don't go through the process or don't even intend to go through the process of becoming certified as a B Corp, at the very least, I encourage every organization, every leader to go to the B Corp and take the assessment. You can just search B Corp assessment, find that online, and there's it takes a lot of time to go through, as Lyn pointed out, but just taking that assessment, you will learn things about how to evolve your organization. As Graham pointed out in the comments here, B Corp is a journey, it's not a destination, and it never ends. We will never stop working on the process of becoming a B Corp. So,
thanks, Jay. I'm a huge fan of yours. As a matter of fact, earlier you suggested you write a note to someone you admire. So watch for your note from me next week.
Thank you. That is so kind. So kind. Lyn is one of my marketing heroes. So thank you for everything you've done for our community in Lincoln and for the marketing world that I care deeply about around the region.
Too kind. Thanks so much.